All right. Well, welcome again to Neighboring 101. This is session number 69. This is a monthly class where we talk with leaders in the neighboring movement all across the United States. Um, we hear from authors and leaders and individuals that are just doing great work in neighboring work, and sometimes people with cities as well that are doing unique work. And all of this is for the purpose of professional development and education and learning the art and skill of neighboring as part of community and personal development. I know I sometimes use things we've learned in this class in my own neighborhood, and then sometimes I'm able to use them professionally as well. So thank you for joining us for Neighboring 101 and helping keep this program alive and going on a monthly basis. Our special guest today, we're just going to jump straight into it. We have two uh, speakers today. Actually, they're tag teaming, as I understand. So today we're very fortunate to be joined by two special guests who bring both experience and insight into our ongoing conversations about community and connection. Our guests today are Brenna Duffy, who is the Neighborhood Services Supervisor, and Alyssa Workman, the Neighborhood Programs Coordinator, both with the City of Overland Park, Kansas. Brenna and Alyssa are both passionate advocates for building stronger, more inclusive communities, and they bring a real thoughtful, people centered approach to their work. In 2024, these two led a compelling presentation at the Neighborhoods USA conference in Lubbock, Texas, where they explored how the principles of the art of gathering can transform not just meetings and events, but also our everyday interactions and our sense of belonging. Today, they'll guide us through a discussion that's based on that same book, sharing some key ideas from the author Priya Parker, and her book, The Art of Gathering, and then how they've applied those lessons to their own experiences in local government and the neighborhood context. So please join me in welcoming Brenna Duffy and Alyssa Workman. It is all yours.
Awesome. Hello, guys. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen. We have a presentation for you today. So we're just going to jump right in. I do love to have audience participation. So what I'm going to need you all to do is pull out those smartphones that I'm
Ooh.
sure are sitting right in front of you and usually are a distraction, but today we're going to use them. So scan the QR code or go to minty.com and enter the code 7339 3591. So go ahead, and if everyone can jump on to our Minty, we think this is a really great way to kind of get some audience participation throughout the session. So if you're having any issues, throw them into the chat. But if not, I'd love to get a thumbs up to know that we are ready to move on, that you guys are logged on and ready to answer some of our questions.
Well, it is taking me to the page. I'm not being prompted to enter the
It should,
code yet.
your first page should just be this slide once you get there.
Okay. All right.
All right.
And give a thumbs up.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Okay, we're going to start. This is going to be our first question of the day. And the question is, what is your gathering ick? So is it starting late, loud talkers, poor venue quality? What is the thing that when you go to a gathering, it just immediately turns you off? You don't want to be there. It really just kind of drags down your mood and your excitement maybe that you had going into the event. Starting late. Yep. That's definitely one for me. Lack of a welcome. These are good. Okay, we got 2 for being welcomed. That's fantastic. Oh, too loud. Bad audio. Low voices. Okay, so we have the both ends. Too low and too loud. Unclear purpose. Oh, I like the one that says everyone knows everyone.
Yeah, whoever I'm with that one too. Smells, I think that one, yeah.
take you right out of it. Okay, we'll give it a few more seconds and then we'll go on. These are great. Venue quality. Yeah, venue really is very important. Okay. This was fantastic. Thank you guys for participating. You can always go back and add yours later if you think of something else. Feel free to throw something else in there. Well, my name is Brenna Duffy, and I am with the City of Overland Park. I am the Neighborhood Services Supervisor, and I'm going to start by letting you know that my favorite type of gathering is a wedding, and Alyssa likes to make fun of me for that, but I am a hopeless romantic, and I love going to a really well-done wedding where you can just like feel the love and community in the room. And my gathering ick is when you have to go around the room and say your name and where you work, but then include a weird or a fun fact. I all of a sudden feel like there's nothing special about me. I get incredibly anxious and I just don't have a fact to pull out of random. So that is my gathering ick.
We totally skipped that part of the introduction to our class this month. We should pause and ask that.
Go back and do it.
Or as my daughter who works summer camp, I think her latest question was if you could have any fluid come out of your belly button, what would it be? Why don't we do that instead of a weird
No, see,
fact?
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with a question. If it's a question that you just have to answer, I think that's better. I would much rather answer fluid out of a belly button than what is a weird or fun fact. That's too open-ended for somebody as structured as I am.
Well, I'm Alyssa Workman. I'm the neighborhood programs coordinator here at the City of Overland Park. And I also feel like Brenna, I'm like not that exciting. So I always hate that where I'm like, I haven't done anything that great. But my favorite type of gathering is actually like a small like dinner party or gathering. Maybe we're like trying something new or sharing wine together, sharing experience. Like I like something a little more intimate. And my gathering ick is like not knowing what to expect ahead of time. So like maybe I haven't seen an agenda or I don't know, is there a bathroom there? Is there not? That's always like at the top of my mind, like will there be a break? Is there food? Just like not having some of those expectations planned out.
I can confirm, I think there was a time I invited Alyssa somewhere and she goes, well, I won't go unless I know the parking situation.
That's also true.
That's a very Midwest thing of like what is parking? Because if I don't know, I'm not going. So
very true. Okay, so I will hop in and start. So rather than just like walking through the book or going like chapter through chapter, what we decided to do is actually walk through a situation or example of how this book actually helped us helped us fix a problem that we had here. So I'll start by saying that I oversee what's called the Neighborhood Executive Committee, and that's David mentioned that we presented on that a couple of years ago at NUSA, and we'd be happy to come back and share about that group. It's actually a group of leaders from neighborhoods and HOAs in our city. Anyone who is a neighborhood in the city is welcome to join. Currently, we have about 50 plus neighborhood leaders, but multiple people from each neighborhood can attend. So we have about 100 or so regular residents engaged in what we call the Neighborhood Executive Committee. We meet 6 times a year. It's established by City Council, so it is a very stringent. We follow Robert's Rules of Orders. There's voting. It's a very much a city business type meeting. But at the end of the year, we get all of these neighborhood leaders together and we hold what's called the NEC, the annual shindig and award ceremony. This started back in 2014, and I'll say Brenna and I have both been with the city. I'm 3 years, Brenna's about 3.5. So we came in kind of around the same time, ready to reshape our programs, kind of give them our own fun personality. But in one problem area where we really discovered was the shindig. We were like, is it a meeting? If you look at this picture in the middle, that was the shindig. This is supposed to be a celebration, and it looks like nobody's sitting in the front. No, everyone's kind of in coats and no one's relaxing, having a good time. So we were like, what can we do to really like make this more meaningful, be more intentional about what we're doing here. And so the book, thinking about this book and the idea of intentionally gathering and putting purpose behind what we're doing really helped shape what we were doing. So to start, I guess I'm going to call out everyone here to see, did you do your homework? So how many of you have read The Art of Gathering? Or at least maybe even familiar? There's a question. I guess you can respond, you're familiar with it.
She also, I will take, if you have listened to her she did a podcast with Brene Brown, which was my introduction, kind of to the Art of Gathering. And then I read the book following that podcast. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. I'll add, we had a neighborhood leader. I think it was like the first meeting that I attended, actually, a neighborhood leader gifted us this book. And so I really would like to think that she was really like, guys, we need your help. Please read this and make these meetings more exciting, more fun for us.
I'm also curious if one of the two people that says they're a Priya Parker stan, somebody has told me once that this book guides their life. And so, I think some people are really look at this book as the word to follow always. So it definitely is something I do recommend picking up, and we'll go on because it's part of our solution.
Yeah. Okay. And no shame to those who haven't read it. We'll make it easy on you. So our solution was to again, we're thinking about this shindig. It's supposed to be fun. It's kind of bland and boring right now. We wanted to redesign. We wanted to make bold choices. We really wanted to, like I said, the book really forces people to think what you're doing when you're gathering and how and why, and really examine are we just meeting? I think the first year that we did this event, we were we're just doing it because we always do it. We don't really know why we're doing it. And so really scrap that idea and really start thinking more intentionally about what we were doing. And like I said, most importantly, let's have some fun at this event. So this photo on the bottom here is from our last shindig this past December. And this is our neighborhood staff. And this is at the end of the event. So clearly, we had success. We are still smiling. We are still having a good time, and really just knowing that we've moved this event to the more fun side. It's really what we're here to share about today.
Yeah, that picture is such an improvement from the previous boring pictures.
Yeah. So where everyone's kind of sitting, facing forward, not having a good time.
Yeah, we were working, but we were having so much fun. So let's dig into exactly what we did. Oh, well, let's actually ask you first. I want you guys to think about the best gathering that you've ever attended, and what were some of the emotions you recall feeling at that gathering? How did that gathering make you feel? Could be a work event, could be a wedding, could be a birthday, could be a conference. Could have been dinner last night with a large group. I'm seeing, a lot of connected already, because that's pretty big. Part of something genuine. Energized, yes, that's one for me for sure.
That's a good one.
Long scene, yep. Mm-hmm. Joyful. Mm-hmm. This is great.
Yeah. I love seeing the belonging, connected. Yeah. When we think about neighborhood gatherings in general, these are the types of feelings we try to, you're part of our community.
Mm-hmm. So this is kind of the idea of where Priya tells you to start, is kind of thinking about what do you want people to feel. So this is great that you guys are still going, that it's fun. Oh, yes, absolutely. Loved.
Mm-hmm. We always say we bring the fun. Brenna and I love to just bring the fun to everything we go to the point where I think that was NUSA, where Brenna, we had a tour and the tour guide just didn't show up. And so Brenna hopped up and started just being the tour guide for Lubbock, Texas, a place, we knew nothing about. So don't be afraid to have a good time.
Don't be afraid to have a good time and to change things up when you need to. So we sat down after hearing about this event, but, having not been staff and then kind of doing this event for 1 year and realizing it was not the happy, joyful feeling that we were trying to have our neighbors feel when they come. We wanted them to feel appreciated, cherished, valued, recognized. We kind of sat down and we started that conversation. Well, how did we want people to feel? How did we want them to feel throughout the entirety of the night? What should the flow look like? And something that I really appreciate about this book is that Priya says the category is not the purpose. And this is also kind of hard for us because this event is honestly 3 categories. So we have a holiday party, but it's not just a holiday party. That is the category. The purpose is to deepen connections with each other and city staff in a relaxed and informal atmosphere. And that piece of it was incredibly important to us because, like we said, we follow Robert's rules. We're always up, moving around. It is business. We are moving quickly. We are trying to get done in a timely manner. So these neighbors that want to have this friendlier relationship with Alyssa and myself, there just really isn't time. We are on a strict schedule. So we wanted to make sure that they felt relaxed, that they were having fun with us, more of this party moment where it felt like we were not staffing them, but we were friends enjoying the night together. A category is an award ceremony, but that's not our purpose. Our purpose was a night to honor and appreciate neighborhood leaders for their hard work and dedication to fostering community connections throughout the year. And then lastly, it is also a volunteer recognition for everyone who is attending the gathering. So this is where each volunteer has an opportunity to feel special and that they are vital to their community and feeling inspired for the year ahead as well. So this is what we started hitting on of, okay, we have this kind of boring event, but this is truly what we want next year to feel like. So this is where we started. So one of the first things you have to do when we realize we're re-engineering the event kind of from the back forward is we started talking about venue selection. And this was really important to us because we wanted to provide guests a sense of place. We knew that we wanted to have them walk in and we wanted it to feel warm and cozy and inviting, not like the conference room that all of our NEC meetings are held. Again, those are meetings. This is a party. This is a gathering. This is a thank you. And so we really wanted to make sure the venue reflected that. This is also a time where Priya in her book talks about how size does matter. So you don't want a huge space and have it look empty. That will look like nobody came to your event. You also don't want it to be too tight or too crammed that people aren't able to network, move around. So she actually provides in her first few chapters a graphic that tells you how many people are you expecting. This is the size of room you should get. So if that's something you're struggling with, definitely get this book and take a look at that. We also, the kindness of exclusion is something that Priya talks about. And that kind of is about your guest list. Is it a purpose-driven guest list, or did you just invite everyone under the sun? And this is actually something we spent a lot of time talking about because prior to us, award categories could be given to anyone in the city. Now, remember, this is called the Neighborhood Executive Committee Shindig, but people that weren't members of the Neighborhood Executive Committee could receive an award. So it was kind of weird because they would show up, they didn't know anyone, we didn't know them, and yet we're honoring them on this like lovely night. And so that was something that was a big, bold choice that we changed. And we said, nope, you have to be a member of the Neighborhood Executive Committee to win these awards. We are going to exclude the rest of the city. Yes, there are people doing great work. We will reserve one award for those people that are not members of the NEC. But for the most part, we're going to focus this inward. And I think that made a huge difference on people coming and enjoying the night and knowing that their friends and people they've worked with all year are the ones being honored. And then lastly, Priya talks a lot about, you can have pop-up rules. And one of our pop-up rules is everyone's going to have fun. And we'll talk about that more later. But we definitely set that expectation that if you're coming to this event, you're going to be up, you're going to be having fun, you're going to be participating. She says, get rid of etiquette. We're not following that. We are doing pop-up rules instead. And to tell you a little bit more about the venue selection, I'm going to let Alyssa talk about, these are our sad choices that we have.
So this is what we were working with. And I understand that we are with the city. And so we're even lucky that we've got this beautiful community center in our community. Where we do have access to host events. But if you look at the left, like this is what we're working with. We can make it look like a luncheon. We can make it look like a classroom. There's not a lot of options. So you can't tell, but this middle space here, it's a little bit smaller. It's got brick on the walls. It's got a fireplace. We did just very small touches. Like on the right, we did like tablecloths from the dollar store and poinsettias from Costco. And I think the centerpieces are just like placemats from Walmart or something. And so There are like very easy tweaks, very small things. If you're working on a no or a limited budget, that there are ways that we can really like look at that space and make it feel special. Even if, on the left, this is where we started and this is where it ended. So.
I love this part of this because, frankly, finding a meeting space can be a real challenge, big
Mm-hmm.
towns and small towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even in Springfield, from other organizations, coworkers, usually the second thing that comes out of their mouth, we need a meeting space and we need it for free,
Yes.
Yes.
right? And we need it on a Saturday night and
Mm-hmm.
things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And it's like,
Yes.
and so sometimes just whatever you can find becomes your
Yes.
space, which
Yes.
is not the optimum way to approach this.
Mm-hmm.
I get creative is what I always say. Go to your libraries, talk to, right now I have friends that are struggling to find a spot for a children's birthday party. And I said, there are so many local restaurants that are small enough that I think the time you're holding it, they might open up for you if you pay them something. I know free is preferred, but really think outside the box and don't be afraid to approach people to ask for their space. I think that's the biggest thing.
Mm.
Remind yourself that you might get a no, but at the end of the day, a no is always fine. But they're not going to hurt you. I know we're all afraid of rejection, but a no is okay. But put yourself out there and get creative when it comes to space.
Mm-hmm. I think also, Brenna and I actually both came from the nonprofit world before coming to local government, and tricks that I would also learn is like ask a business or a location for like a Monday night event versus a Friday night event, or like a Tuesday. A small business is going to be happy to have 25 people in their restaurant on a night when they normally only get 6 or something. And so really think outside the box. And then again, if you're stuck in this space where you're like, well, this is less than ideal and it's blah, like think about things like seating arrangement and how the furniture is arranged, or, does there need to be furniture? If you're wanting mingling, when we go think back to that one picture where everyone's sitting in rows and no one's even in the front seat, like that's not conducive to socializing or to networking. And this is a group where we really say like this is a chance for you to engage with fellow neighborhood leaders. So just really think about some of those like small tweaks you can make even without a budget. Okay, go ahead.
All right, we're
I was
coming
gonna say
back.
you've got rid of that front row with your circles and your
Yes,
tables,
exactly. Yes,
everything.
yes.
So I know Janice posted in the comments something
Yes.
about what if people think a meeting that's fun is a turnoff?
Yes.
That's coming up. I'm very excited to answer Janice's question.
Okay.
Janice, you're like a plant for us, Janice. I think like I'm glad you asked. We'll talk about that a little bit more later because we for sure run into that. Okay. At a gathering in front of everyone, this came from the book. If you were to step into a gathering and these were your choices of what you had to do, what would you choose to do if they walked in the room and this is what I'm really curious to see if I know what my answer is and which one I would never do.
We have been asking people around the office this question because this is a part in the book where I felt like this is crazy. This is crazy talk that she is sharing. To me, of course, I'm going to be with most of you that the only solution or the only answer is that I would be away from my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Alyssa and I try to do arm wrestling competitions pretty often, that's not in front of a bunch of people. So being away from my phone, I would maybe do 10 push-ups. I would leave before I would sing a toast.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like you guys all are in agreement.
There's like one brave soul willing to sing a toast. So I'm.
Who are they? Do they want to get on right now? Give us a little sample. We'll find you. We won't. Okay, so this again, these came directly from the book. This is the idea of, we kind of talked about those pop-up rules, and these all came from her pop-up rules. And this is the idea that you are trying to equalize and connect to your guests. And so what happened was she said, everyone has to give a toast tonight, and the last person giving the toast has to sing theirs. And that was a way to get people to quickly want to give their toast and not be the last person. They were having an issue with another group that breaks were going over. So she said, if you're the last person back from break, you have to do 10 push-ups. And then, of course, there's always just the request that people are putting their phone away, which to me is not a huge ask. I know for some people it might feel that way, but for me, I totally want full attention, or I want you to be on a Minty following along. So I definitely understand where she's coming from, but we prefer, and we'll get down to that, the carrot instead of the stick, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But when you're equalizing and connecting your guests, you want to make sure that everyone is on a level playing field. So is everyone wearing the same name tag, providing that? Are you going to do a game or an icebreaker? We do bingo, which we did at NUSA. We're a big fan of this kind of bingo. Again, we did it at NUSA. We do it before the shindig. And the idea was that everyone was getting up and mingling and getting to know one another. It's an opportunity, again, to kind of set the expectation of this is going to be a fun night. This is not going to be like a meeting. This is a time to really get to know these people that are in this group with you and to go around, mingle, and play a game. I also say staff have to lead the fun. So she talks about generous authority and that a chill host is a selfish host. And I say the guests don't have to know. And what I mean by that is Alyssa and I are playing bingo. Alyssa and I are also saying, hey, do you guys want to do this photo op with me? Hey, how's it going? Oh my gosh, your outfit's so cute. So we are kind of leading this fun. And it looks like, again, we're relaxed. We're enjoying the night. Secretly, we are not chill. We are texting each other. We are pulling each other aside when things go wrong, but we don't want our guests to know that, right? Like as the host, we are trying to bring the fun, to lead the enthusiasm, to get everyone involved. And actually there's a really fun story here. And again, everyone is expected to join in the fun, even the mayor when they come. And what we find is instead of saying, if you don't join the fun, you're going to have to do push-ups. That again, would maybe not be for me. We say, here's the bingo card. If you play, you're going to get a prize. And so we kind of do an incentive rather than a threat of participate and you might win something exciting. And we actually had a neighbor who was less than thrilled about bingo. And I think she talked to Alyssa a little bit about this. So I'll share that with you, Alyssa. I'll let you tell that story.
Yeah, so she, and this is a really great, Marlene, you kind of hit on it as well. So again, this was someone who was like, I don't have fun. I am not here to come have fun to this event. I was on the committee. I just came to make sure it was a successful event. I'm not here to have fun. I hate talking to people. And I just started by like, look at your bingo. Sue, like I know for a fact Brenna is left-handed. Why don't you go fill in her name? And slowly but surely, she just kind of started when she was talking to one person, maybe another person would come over. Marlene just hits it completely perfectly. Like bingo is a great way. You can just talk, I can streamline to one person. So I think she got her bingo card filled out. She turned it in and then she went and sat at her table by herself just the way she wanted to. But she at least understood that those kind of like those rules and expectations of the event. And so she participated and actually like this past year, she came out and said, oh my gosh, I forgot to get my bingo sheet. Please, can I have one? And so again, it's really, it's not me being like, you will do this or else. It's like, here, let me help you with this. And it's, again, it's guiding them kind of outside of their comfort zone, even to the people who think that they're not there to have fun or they're not there to like talk to people. We force them to do that. And it's so far been successful.
I also like bingo because we do have some people, there was a picture of it back a few slides, where people will just still go take their bingo card and sit at their table. But the competitive outgoing people are still stopping, even though they're sitting down and they're saying, hey, are you left-handed? And so somebody is doing the work to engage with them if they just want to sit and hold on to their bingo. So this has been, honestly, I think the best thing we could have added to this event, all in all.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we have a question for you. How long would you need to prepare for an 80-person appreciation event? So that is the shindig, is about 80 people. It is an appreciation event. How long would you need? When would you start preparing?
Ooh. Sometimes you don't always have the luxury of time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or sometimes hypothetically, I know a person who's on a committee and the others wait far too late to get started.
Yeah. It's like group work. Sometimes those group projects are so difficult. If we could just do it all ourselves, I think. 3 to 4 seems to be a good standard. I'm so curious to see who's living on the edge and just doing 2 weeks. Like, we got it, it's ours. We actually do about 4+ months is actually because we start in January. So again, because we're an official committee, we release our calendar at the beginning of the year, but it has that save the date. People know, everyone knows our NEC meetings are the second Tuesday of the odd months, and that the shindig is the second Tuesday in December. It's just, we have that ingrained in their mind. So we've already started thinking in January. Our award categories are things about like fun events and like leadership and projects that they do. So we're priming them throughout the year saying, who had a fun event? Who's going to send me pictures? Like, what have you been up to? We then start like formally thinking about it, talking about it, and planning logistics in about August. We get a committee together and start meeting monthly. Our staff team meets about monthly, and then kind of as those dates get closer, you move it to every 2 weeks, and then weekly, and then you got a meeting before the event and after. And so we start taking RSVPs in November. Again, we are already talking about it. We've been talking about it at our September NEC meeting when we're asking for volunteers for our committee. We're talking about it in October when our officers board meets, and we say, here's what we're doing. How are the officers going to get involved? We're talking about it in November when we're saying RSVP to this event, please come. So we have really set that expectations. It helps to have, it's not just, when I say we, it's not just me and Brenna. We've got some really great officers or leaders of the NEC who, when they're leading the September meeting, will just say, this is this is a great event. We love it so much. It's so much fun. It helps to have those cheerleaders. It's not just Brenna and I being like, we're the fun, come have some fun with us. It's actually like other people in the community sharing how great it is. We like to do things again, let people know this isn't just another meeting. It's not business. It's a focus on having fun. We do things like encourage festive clothing, or just making it feel different. But like these expectations people already have before they even get to that meeting, to that event.
I also like, this is where Priya calls out what she calls the 90% rule, which is just 90% of what makes a gathering successful is put in place beforehand. And it's funny when Alyssa and I work with other municipalities, I think they think we over prepare, but we definitely prepare a lot. And it is because, again, that idea of like, we want to come off as chill hosts, even though we're maybe not actually very chill. But that is only because we do so much work ahead of time to make the evening feel flawless, even if it's not. And so I really, I don't think there is such a thing as being over prepared. I know some people maybe do, but I say like, we like to contingency plan as well. So just think things through, really make sure that you are hitting the flow of the evening so that you maybe do have a moment to relax every now and then.
And Brenna, I would say another part of being able to be a chilled and relaxed host is not putting everything on yourself. Like,
oh my gosh,
you're hosting and you're also doing the table check-in and whatever else, filling the drinks, and because inevitably things happen. So you got to have some volunteers and support that really maybe just free you up for whatever surprises come up.
And Priya talked about this in her book a little bit too, about assigning tasks to people, which we love to do. I'm always like, I know XYZ is going to be here. Who's going to greet them when they arrive, or who is going to fill cups? Yeah. And also, like, just to go back to those introverts or those people who maybe don't like socializing as much, give them a job task that forces them to interact with people. That's another way to, so maybe they don't, it's kind of a covert way of like, hey, how about you hand out name tags to everyone? And suddenly the introvert is talking to every single person who walks into that event. So it's a really great way to get people involved.
We also have found out like people's odd talents by asking for volunteers. So I think there was a year that we were like, we don't really know how to decorate the space. We don't have a large budget. Like, we are city employees. And somebody stepped forward and they said, I used to wrap gifts for department stores. And we were like, oh my gosh, we will just have people bring all of their empty Amazon boxes to you if you are willing to wrap them. And she was like, yes, I love wrapping presents. And so we had like these beautiful stacks of presents just like throughout the venue. And it looked so gorgeous. And she loved doing it. We didn't know that that was a past career of hers. And so, yeah, definitely it takes a village to pull off a successful event. Absolutely. So kind of once you've primed your guest, Priya talks about then the next step is called ushering. And this is when you kind of pass that psychological threshold. You are stepping into the event. So, maybe you had a phone call as you're walking in from, I don't know, your boss that something didn't go well, but you're trying to go to this event where you're being appreciated. So how do we get you in the correct mindset when you arrive? And she talks about the transition into the temporary world can be so simple. It could just be like having a registration process, putting on a name tag, literally walking through the door can be part of ushering. And so for us, that is definitely all of those things. We have somebody welcoming you, a greeter, we have a name tag for you. And then for us, when you walk through that door, we really want you to go from this hallway of a community center to a new world that is decorated, that is warm, where there's music, and we're setting the vibe. We're making you feel welcomed. We want you to see that, again, this is a nice gathering. It's very warm. Everyone is there. We have a photo opportunity going on, which, as you can see on the photos on the right, everyone seems to very much enjoy. I think it's a great way to kind of, again, usher people into your event, give them something to do ahead of time. So maybe if they are done with their bingo, they grab someone, they do the photo op. Again, this is a time where we have staff kind of standing at our ring light to say, oh, come take a photo. Oh my gosh, jump in. The two of you are so cute. And so encouraging people to use that space. And then kind of once you start encouraging people, it takes off and becomes a world of its own. And people create a line and start, doing silly things. You can see our community officers there with their fun glasses and hats. So really, this is kind of that step into let everything else go and come join the gathering. Alyssa, did I forget anything there with ushering?
No, I don't think so. We for a couple of years, and then the space started getting too small. It was too loud. But again, like cost-effective ways to hold an event. We for a couple of years had local, like a little quartet or a trio of like high school students come and play music at the first 30 or 45 minutes of our event. And that was a great, again, it just really like set this, it just felt so special to just like, again, walk in, you're walking past people in their workout clothes, and then you walk into this space and it is warm and inviting and bright and music's going. It's just really, really great. Okay, so then once we're in there, we're having fun. Again, like we're not the chill host. We've got it together behind the scenes. We're just, so how do we keep this event on track? Brenna says we've prepared for everything, even though it looks like we're the chill host, we're having a great time. In our mind, we've got a timeline, we've got a script, we know what should be happening. But we, Priya really hones in on this idea of don't start a meeting with logistics. And maybe I skipped ahead a slide, but so I'm not going in the room and saying, okay, meeting is starting. No, what we've done is we just kind of quietly open the food doors, and people kind of start getting like, it just creates kind of like a natural break to that opening activity. People start getting their foods. We're not formally releasing tables or anything. Everyone just has kind of followed our script unknowingly. They're doing what we want them to do. We have them trained well. But it's just small things that you can do to kind of, opening the food doors kind of signifies that the bingo is over, the things are supposed to start. Everyone kind of knows once you've made it through the food line, you sit down and it's about time to get started. So, okay, let's see. Never start with logistics. Again, don't sit down and be like, okay, now we're going to do this and here's what to do that. No, we do add a little fun first. We announce the bingo winner, and then we remind folks why they're there. And this was a point, I think I like underlined it multiple times as I was like reading and going back through the book. How many times have y'all gone to a meeting or an event or something when you're just kind of like, okay, like, but what am I here for? Like, what is this purpose? And just getting that right out the front. Like, we want you, this is what we're here for. This is what you should expect. You can do that without doing it in logistics ways. And then we've started including kind of in that opening and that welcome, we just have data on what this group together have accomplished in our city. So is it, there were 85 events held by this room alone last year in our community. We had, 90 opportunities for residents to connect with each other. Thanks to all of you in this room. We've had, 87 mailers sent out to neighborhoods on behalf of like community events and programs happening. And it really just creates a sense of like shared accomplishment, shared pride of like, wow, guys, we are doing this together. So this is the awards annual award ceremony. So we've got a couple of awards that are based on like nominations, things people do. And then again, like, I don't know about you all, but like, I love winning things. I will win as much as I can. So if I also like, I'm going to an event, I know that I'm not winning an award, but like, how great is it that I can come in, I can win a prize for playing bingo. We do things like, one year we did like an ugly sweater contest, or, we'll just give little prizes and giveaways, opportunities to, again, show our gratitude, as much as possible. If possible, this is again, something that I brought over from the nonprofit world, where I would always write like handwritten thank you notes every time someone made a donation or supported our organization. So here, how long does it take to write 80 little notes? We gave away little goodie bags, and on each one, we just wrote a note like, you are so amazing. We are so appreciative of you. Just like a quick little handwritten note. And they just like the joy and the like, people felt so appreciated just for receiving that. So there are just little ways to make them feel special. And then another little tip that we did, again, thinking in mind, like, we want this to be a fun event. We don't want this to feel like a standard, boring business meeting. So we're not bringing them in to sit down, okay, turn down the lights, now we've got a presentation. No, like, that's not happening. The awards portion is pretty low tech itself, but maybe we've got a slideshow rolling in the background as bingo is happening that shows like pictures or highlights from the year. So you can still kind of get in that appreciation without, again, making it feel like, oh, now I'm here for my program and I have to sit quietly and not have a good time. So here, that is how we kind of set the stage and launch our event. Oh, I'm trying to change it, Brenna, and you.
No, yeah, I couldn't all of a sudden.
Trying to be in control as usual. Okay, so I mentioned last year we gave away little goodie bag, or like little canvas bags that say, I love my neighborhood, and we put a handwritten note with it. So I'm curious on what are some of the best party favors that you all have received from an event or a meeting or, a celebration that you've attended.
Portable tape measure. Again, I asked this question around the office and somebody was like, okay, have you ever had a tape measure that you can just, and I feel like that is a big one. Food. I have left many a wedding with like, it became popular for a while. I feel like I left at the end of the night, you've been dancing, maybe you've, had a drink or two, and people have been like, here's a donut or here's a hamburger to go. And I love that idea. It's telling that I can't remember. Yes.
Yeah. I love that, honestly. Yeah.
Somebody did tell me it's all junk and it's going to go in the trash. And so again, this is a time to be very mindful.
Mm-hmm.
These are good. These things are all things I would want.
Yes. Yeah, I love the idea. We do this too when we give the awards, we give like a little gift, and we try and make it a consumable gift versus like, I don't want another tchotchke that I'm just gonna like put on my thing, and then my kid's got to figure out, why does she have 80 of these figurines after I die or something. So I like a candy bouquet. Let's start introducing that.
I also like that, me, I'm always trying to give away emergency preparedness stuff. So the fire extinguisher makes me so happy, or like a smoke detector.
Yeah.
Something we also started doing for any municipality that's on is the City of Overland Park has like day passes to pools, community centers. We have like a farmstead. a museum. So we have just started giving people experiences. So we ask our lovely Parks and rec team if we can have some free day passes, and they give them to us. And those are often our prizes. And you don't get one, you get 5. So you can take you and some friends. You could go multiple times. You could take your whole family. And again, low cost. That costs nothing to us to get those from another department. So that's been a really big hit, especially around this time of year. There is a special holiday event at our Arboretum. So like people want these to then go to that holiday event about a week later. So it's been a big hit.
Now I would remember those.
Yes.
We've got the date. If you need to come visit this coming here, we'll get you. Okay. So be authentic. I think this is really great advice when thinking about hosting an event. I think Priya, she writes about this idea of, I think she calls it Ichigo, Ichi. It's maybe from Japan. It's this idea of like, you will only be in this one event one time ever. We are not duplicating this event. Even though this is an annual Shindig event, 2025 Shindig is not the same as 2024. So really just like be authentic. Think about like how to make this new and different with just like little ways. You don't have to change the whole event. But again, this is like your one-time chance, even if you have it every year, of like how to make it just a little bit more special. Let's see. Again, not chill host. We have a script that we prepare and we give it to our speakers. Another thing that we do is we ask our committee members who help plan this, we ask them to present the award categories and to do most of the speaking. So maybe I'm introducing the event and Brenna is closing it, but after that, it's all neighborhood leaders and elected officials who are introducing, who are talking, who are honoring one another. And so as I like to control everything, I do give them a nice little script, but I also know how many times they're going to say, and now I'll hand it over to Jessica, who just won. And you have no idea what she's going to say. We know that is going to happen, but we're prepared for it and we're ready. And again, maybe it's some of those soft cues if things do start going off the rails of like, okay, Jessica, I'm gonna like stand next and like hold on to the microphone and like start getting ready. So like just be flexible, but also again, if you've prepared in advance, you have a way of like still maintaining control of the event.
And I just want to say again, Priya kind of talks about that. It's not mean to cut someone off. You are protecting everyone else's time. So again, this is your generous authority to make sure that everyone else is being protected. And it's okay to remind people that it's time to move on. Or to stick to the themes of the evening if you need to.
I just realized our picture was our little goodie bag there that we.
Oh yeah, it is. That's what was our
the picture of the award winner when she won that award. I think when you talk about authenticity and like making it fun, that was not happening in that kind of boring road meeting space that they were hosting it in before.
All right, so closing matters, and as Alyssa was saying, I get to do the closing, which is truly my favorite part. And we're gonna say the same thing about the beginning. We're not closing with logistics, so we're not opening with the logistics. We are not closing with logistics, but I do kind of use logistics to signal that the end is near. So I get up there and I remind everyone, hey, the calendar for next year's NEC meetings are out. Make sure you get them into your phone right now. We don't want to miss you next year. If it's, if you're a new person, which is very rare, please get in contact with us. And then I also remind people to just have a great night, a good year. And so again, we're kind of signaling that things are winding down. But then I do recall our purpose. Thank you for being here. You all did amazing work. We could not have done this without you. Just another moment to recognize and appreciate before we really close it out. And then my favorite part is that we get to close with a bang. So again, you've heard us saying like, this is awards, this is appreciation. We are giving out prizes. So my favorite part is that the way we officially end the night is we take those poinsettias on the table, and at each table, one of the chairs has a stickered star underneath it. And so I get to tell everyone, okay, check your chair, reach underneath, and whoever has a star, hold it up high. you get to take that poinsettia home with you. And it is just the funniest thing to see a room full of, grown adults reaching under their chair, eagerly trying to figure out if they're the winner, and then jumping up that they've won. And I love closing that way, because not only is it a fun thing to remember, but y'all are helping us clean up. I don't know if they know that, but I now don't have to haul all of those flowers back. I don't have to clean that up. Somebody is taking it with them, and they're going to get to appreciate it in their home. And it also moves people more quickly, because the largest cue to please stop mingling and leave is when people start cleaning up. And so we are ending with people cleaning up. And again, I love our neighbors. They are wonderful people, but we have just spent maybe 2 hours with them, and it is late and it is time to go. So this is a really great cue that we have found that we just absolutely love. I think if you have centerpieces and you're willing to part with them, definitely do this. And then
Now, how far do you take that, Brenna? Is it like if you're to the left of the poinsettia winner, you also get to take the temporary tablecloth, go ahead and wad that up and take that
wad it up
with
and
you?
put it in your bag if you want.
It sounds like you're pretty enthusiastic about the cleaning up aspect. So how far do you take that?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because we do find that in our regular meetings where we have food, we serve pizza, cookies, salads, that often a lot of volunteers will stay after the meetings to help us clear the table. And then there's this moment of like, do you care if I take a pizza that's left, or do you care if I have a few cookies? So it is so funny that you say that, because it is definitely a mindset that carries into our meetings of, if I help them clean up, I might leave with a little something extra. And we definitely, as long as we're not trying to reuse it the following year, if somebody wants something, it's totally fine with us. Or if they say, hey, we have lended out those table settings, the gold pieces, for another event, and that was fine with us. They saw them at the shindig, asked to borrow them. We said, yes, we do use those every year. But sure, if somebody wants the dollar store tablecloth, that's their prerogative. They can have it.
I like to use it as a way, you always have those like few people that linger at the end, and maybe it's like whoever's the last one to leave has to do XYZ at the next meeting. So maybe that is where we'll use our stick, is for whoever's the last one to leave.
We're going to start with these more pop-up rules. I love that. And then something that Priya doesn't really mention in her book, but is another big ick for me if I am planning an event, is that a lot of times people don't think about the after the end of the event, which is a weird sentence, but I think people feel like when the event ends, if you're an organizer, you're done, but that's not true. You have to think about cleanup. You have to think about where are all these items going. What did somebody come up to you and say, hey, I haven't been getting your newsletter, can you get it to me? There's always follow-up to every kind of gathering that you do, and so don't forget about that follow-up. Also, if it's appropriate, we always send post-event surveys. I think that's great to feel, to hear about how other people felt about the event. Did they enjoy it as much as you did? Was there something they loved? Was there a weird smell? Somebody said that was their ick. We have gotten that response before, that somebody was like, this building smelled so funky. Can you do something about that? And I didn't realize it. So it was good to get that feedback. And then we always, we might start in August, but when we sit down in August, what we start with is our postmortem that we do about a week after the event. We sit down as a team. What went well? What didn't work? What changes do we want to make next year? And we just kind of word vomit everything we can think of. And I write it all in a really messy Google Doc, and I don't look at it again. And then next August, it is the first thing we pull up. Here's what we said last year. Here's how it went. What are we going to change? And so make sure you're doing that with your teams. So we have come to our end. So what questions do y'all have for us?
Feel free to type a question out in chat, or take yourself off mute and ask your question.
We should start taking Ziploc bags. I see that comment.
Mm-hmm. We sometimes will also give, we'll give our leftover food to the staff at the community center as like a thank you. We know you're here like cleaning up after us. So that's another way to get anything that we can do to prevent having to come back to the office at the end of the night is a win.
Yeah.
I'll ask a question since no one else is chiming in yet. Maybe give you a chance to type your question out in chat or give some more thought. Parker's really big on her book about purpose over format, understanding the purpose of your gathering and let that drive your format. I've been to a lot of events that I'm not sure they know what their purpose
Hmm.
was. Or it's like, oh, it's a little bit of workshop and a little bit of awards and a little bit of networking and a little bit of this and stuff. So, how much of that do you uh, trim away, or how did you kind of leave that up to your committee, or did you come in with a frame of mind already like this is going to be our purpose? This is the purpose.
Yeah, that's a great question because this is definitely an event that didn't know what it was. And it was interesting. We received a lot of feedback from our committee and we made suggestions about cutting a lot of things in order to not have that kind of like purpose drift, and really focus on the one thing. And by having that committee that helped us, we found out what was important to them. So that was also a big driver of purpose of, especially if you have an annual event, you probably can't change everything the first year. So we recognized there wasn't a purpose. And so we have slowly improved this event over 3 years. So we're going into our fourth year of this event. And it took us that long to really kind of define a cohesive purpose. And even still, I would say there are three reasons why we are gathering. And that's, I would never go over three. I think three is the max. But it is
Okay.
tricky to kind of work it all into one event.
Yeah. I'll see a few
I'll see.
questions popping in
Yeah.
chat now. And Jesse, good to see you. He asked, have some of these neighborhood leaders used what they have experienced for these meetings to do their own neighborhood meetings?
Mhm. We always encourage. I think Brenna and I are always like, please take this fun and take it to. We'll support you in any way. Probably the one that I've seen the most is the bingo. People have asked me to share bingo with them, which is a really easy. I'm like, here's my Canva. You can go in and. Someone even was like, it's not for my neighborhood, but I want to do a bingo for my birthday party. She was turning 60 and expecting a bunch of people that didn't know each other. And so I think that's probably the one I've seen replicated the most. Brenna, what do you think? I'm trying to think what else
Mm.
where we've seen this duplicate.
I think it has helped. I think that our kind of creativity and approach, specifically using this book, has made neighborhoods excited to try new things. I think we had a lot of neighbors that did the same thing year after year after year, and us coming in and shaking up the program itself. Kind of gave them permission to also start exploring new
Mm.
ideas. And we've had a lot of neighbors switch from, we always had an event at a park, we always serve the same food, to what if we went to a restaurant? And we're like, yes, great, we love that. How would that work? Let's talk through it. And so just that opportunity to explore, I think, has kind of changed.
Yeah, they're really just learning from even your example, really, of what you're doing. They're learning from that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, Janice is asking, has anyone done a book discussion group with this book together? I have not. I don't know if anyone else has or had an opportunity to.
I have not. It is like, now that that is mentioned, I am thinking like that's a really good idea to take to our neighborhood leaders. Maybe we start a
Mhm.
little. Now you're giving me more work of like we
Yeah,
should do a
that's
book
like
club.
good. I
Now we're
was like, we
starting.
get that all the time.
And speaking of more work, Chad is wondering if you can share the Canva bingo link in the chat here.
I can't share it in the chat. David, if I send it to you, do you think you can
Hmm.
maybe send it out? I think it's in a
Sure.
different, an old Canva. So I've got to either find it or recreate it. And I'm happy to share it though.
Well, if you can, yeah, if you can find it, I'd be glad to share it
Mhm.
back out
Yeah.
with the group, even with Chat since he asked.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I don't have it readily available. I've got two Canvas and most of the work that I have on one was erased. So I have to dig and see if I still have it.
I would say one of the most impactful takeaways from the book for me was just her point about starting meetings with logistics. I, for 15 years, I think every extension program I went to, the first lines that were spoken was, okay, the exit doors here and the
Mhm.
bathrooms are in the back and all those sort of logistics. And it just kind of sucks the enthusiasm out of the room as opposed to really starting with something meaningful and impactful to begin with. And just even that little bit of mindset change can make a real dramatic difference in your meeting, I think. But she has many other good points as well.
Yes. Mhm.
All right. Well, if no other questions here live, we certainly owe Alyssa and Brianna a big thank you for the time they've invested in the PowerPoint and the tools that were used to help make it fun as well. And I love how you tied that back to a neighborhood program example. Great way to do the presentation and for stepping us through some of the lessons out of the art of gathering. So, uh, everyone's chiming in. Much appreciations for that.
That's so
Thank you
great.
to
Thank you.
those that were able to join on live. That gives you a chance to ask some questions, and then I know many others will watch it online. So we'll end the recording now.